Yo, what up everybody, Arie here and welcome back to another video. Today, in an attempt to make you and myself a little bit smarter than we were before watching this video,
this is big brain time.
I want to show you a video about a girl that sold her startup company for $500 million, and a little Easter egg surprise is that I've actually done a case study before on this brand. If you're new to my channel, I typically talk about e-commerce related things, but I'm starting to diversify a bit. I'm trying to cover other topics as well, as I have a lot of ideas to share, and generally speaking, I want my channel to just be a source of knowledge and wisdom and fun. So without further ado, let's get into this video.
I remember the day my daughter Evie was born like it was yesterday. I can picture sitting with my wife as she told her mom the news over the phone. I sat in awe of the miracle that just took place right before my eyes. Bryn Putnam also made a call shortly after her first child was born on November 15th, 2016. Only she was securing $3 million in venture capital to fund her tech-based fitness company called Mirror.
See yourself.
In the summer of 2020, she sold Mirror for $500 million to Lululemon. The pandemic has been good for business. Mirror ads are plastered across New York City's subway system, airing on TV, and clogging up social media channels. But selling a company for $500 million is just a small part of Bryn's story. And frankly, it's not even the most interesting. Are we doing this?
Doing it.
All right. There are three numbers to watch out for in Bryn's story. $15,000, the amount she had in her savings when she quit ballet.
Oh, that's actually a really good preface to a future video that I have coming. And I just want to note to all the women out there watching my videos, I'm really excited to learn more about this girl because there's not a ton of representation in the entrepreneurial space, especially in tech and in e-commerce, but obviously that's starting to change and that's pretty dope. So let's proceed.
$3 million, her first outside investment, and $500 million, the amount she sold Mirror for in 2020.
Wow.
Here's how Bryn Putnam built a company that's worth $500 million in just 2 years. For CNBC Make It, I'm Nate Skid. This is Founder Effect. There are two distinct halves to Bryn Putnam's story: the athlete and the academic. One of her earliest memories of growing up in Manhattan is climbing on stage at one of her parents' dinner parties at the age of 3, in a diaper, and proceeding to dance with the band. She started taking dance seriously at age 7, joining New York Ballet's pre-professional school, and then joined the company full-time before her 16th birthday. But around that same time, she was admitted to Harvard.
I deferred Harvard for a year, so I was accepted to Harvard and accepted to New York City Ballet almost in parallel. So tried to sort of juggle academics and my dance career, and then returned to dance after I graduated. So I've always had really these two sides of my personality, I think. Creative side and then maybe more analytical problem-solving side, which I think ultimately got united in the creation of my businesses.
That's interesting. I can kind of relate to that. I have a huge creative side of me, but then also a very business-minded side. And I want to say it's interesting to see a lot of correlations between high-performing athletes and high-performing entrepreneurs. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's definitely a correlation there.
What did you study at Harvard?
I studied Russian literature and culture at Harvard.
That Russian literature, that would come in handy in a couple of years, right?
My dad said at the time, if I'm going to pay for this expensive school, maybe you could also learn a skill like a language.
That decision would impact her life in ways she couldn't anticipate. Bryn was aging out of ballet and looking to use her experience to open a fitness studio.
I couldn't afford a traditional space because they were all too expensive. So I decided I would just walk up and down the streets of Manhattan looking for off-market or unusual properties that maybe I could rent for a cheaper price. I stumbled on a Russian church that was finishing services. And so I sauntered over and started trying to practice my Russian skills, and quickly was shot down due to my poor language skills. But the minister did say that they had a room for rent in the church. And if I was looking for space, it might be a fit. It was a strange space, however, though, because every Saturday we had to give the space back to the church for Sunday services. And then every Sunday we had to rebuild the space as a fitness studio. I had saved about $15,000 from my years of dancing. And so I needed to build out a fitness studio and a business with really limited funds, which meant a lot of the actual physical labor that went into building the studio was done with my own 2 hands.
In 2010, she opened Refine Method. But Bryn says she also spent that year meeting with athletic trainers, coaches, and physiologists to better understand how professional athletes train. She condensed what she learned into a program suited for average mom and dads that she saw in her studio.
Man, I just gotta say quick, I really love seeing people's progression in life. It's really probably the most inspiring thing for me. Just like the ripple effect or the domino effect of the experiences that they go through and how it builds up to these just insane moments, like her selling her startup for $500 million. It all happened because of these steps that she took, going to Russian school, and before that, practicing ballet at a competitive level, and then meeting with these athletes to get to know them better. All these things that just led up to this huge moment. I think that's amazing.
What was the initial reaction like, and how quickly did it grow?
We got really lucky, I have to say. I mean, it was really, I think, an example of explosive organic growth powered by an incredible community flywheel. I had a small group of 5 or 6 women who were my initial clients, and then they started bringing friends who brought friends who brought friends. And so Studio 1 soon paid for Studio 2, Studio 3.
What do you mean by flywheel? I hear that term often with entrepreneurs and business leaders.
When you really achieve that fit between the product and the market, the business starts to grow much faster without traditional paid marketing or using other channels. It was definitely the case with Refined Method. We never spent $1 on marketing.
But it didn't take long for her to find the limitations of a brick and mortar fitness studio. No matter how popular it became, most mom and dads can only work out before or after work, leaving a massive hole in the middle of the day.
You reach a point where you're serving thousands of people or tens of thousands of people, but it's just not the scale that you can reach with technology.
There has to have been a bridge between that and Mir, and I'm wondering what it was.
I started to think about how to take what I had created in real life and translate it to in-home. But I always felt like working out at home meant you were sacrificing quality for convenience. You were putting a big bike or a treadmill into your small New York apartment, or you were searching for content on YouTube and then watching it on a tiny phone while you tried to awkwardly work out. And so it was really trying to figure out how to take the learnings of what makes a great experience and figure out the appropriate technology to bring it to life in the home.
Go deeper for me if you can. Where did you see like a financial opportunity, a business opportunity? Because working out at home isn't new.
There was an emphasis on the quality of content and instruction that got developed through the rise of these boutique studios that combined with developments in technology. So I think those two trends really united this idea that people were willing to invest money in their health and wellness. They wanted to prioritize good content, good instructors, and frankly, they had the pipes in their home to stream that content.
Bryn watched her instructors carefully as they paced the room, tracking times, adjusting workout difficulties, all the while motivating and encouraging them to do their best. She knew she could live stream instructors, and there was technology in place to keep track of statistics like heart rate tracking.
But I couldn't figure out the vehicle for putting all those pieces together until we did a survey of our members, completely unrelated. And we said, what was the best thing we did all year at Refined Method? And one of the things we had done was put regular dumb mirrors into our studios. And our members said it was the best thing we had done, was give them that visual feedback, and that the mirror created this incredible, real energy loop that inspired them to work harder. And I realized that all of the technology I'd been thinking about building into a phone or some other platform really worked within a mirror.
So she went to work, building a prototype at her kitchen table with the help of her husband, out of a piece of one-way glass and a Raspberry Pi tablet she bought off of Amazon.
So our first test was really just a tablet that said, "This is a test," repeatedly across it behind a piece of glass in my kitchen. Is this idea that I have in my head of an instructor and all of these components coming to life through a mirror, is it baseline possible? And once we sort of established through that crude test that it was baseline possible, we actually went a very different direction and started to think about building the brand and the experience and the community and in a completely non-functional way.
From here on out, Bryn says she did the exact opposite of what most successful founders do.
Traditional tech startup philosophy is you build something crude and ugly, but functional. You build up a member base, you validate that there's interest there, and then you start to build a brand and an experience and a community and really refine the experience. And I really did the exact opposite. I felt pretty strongly that what we were ultimately building was a platform for content. And so instead of building something functional and then moving to something inspiring, we went the other way.
She put together a slick, non-functioning prototype that basically played an animated video of what the mirror functionality could look like. And from that crude prototype, she secured her Series A funding.
Remembering that I started this idea in the early days of my pregnancy. So by the time I went to raise money, I was very pregnant, about 9 months pregnant. And so it was very nerve-wracking to be a single female founder with no technical skills, presenting a prototype that looked beautiful, but was really not functional while very pregnant.
What were people telling you at the time? I mean, that had to have been a really difficult moment.
I spoke to a lot of investors and entrepreneurs who frankly said that they would recommend that I either got a co-founder who was ideally male and technical, and also that I would wait to fundraise until after my son was born. But I felt really strongly that we had a really great product and that the market was ripe for the opportunity, and I didn't want to miss my chance. I didn't want to wait.
I love that. I totally agree. I think she mentioned something really interesting. A lot of people go for their minimal viable product and just start building right away, but she actually went straight to investors with her prototype and like presented this idea. And I guess from what she just mentioned, with a decent amount of scarcity of opportunity, and just when you get a proposition like that as an investor, I don't know how that must feel, but I'm sure that incentivizes you a little more to invest in a company if the opportunity is there and ripe for that moment. But there's a window of opportunity, and if you miss it, the chance could be gone. So that's pretty good. I might have to write that down if I ever need investors for anything.
So do you remember your pitch?
Yeah, so this is Mirror, a nearly invisible interactive home gym that allows you to stream live and on-demand fitness classes from your home. You'll be able to get the boutique studio experience without sacrificing your home to clunky gym equipment that takes over your home and only allows you to pursue one type of fitness. So imagine the variety of a full studio with the footprint of a beautiful piece of home decor.
Bryn secured $3 million in funding from her hospital bed the day her son was born. She knew exactly how to divide the money: hardware, software, and content.
You have this amazing vertically integrated platform where you are going directly into someone's home and really controlling the end-to-end experience. So it was super important to us that we did own the hardware, software, and content so that we can be incredibly responsive to our members' needs and be able to change things quickly.
Mirror went into stealth mode for 2 years as it perfected the hardware and produced a content library. Only the investors and select friends had seen the product. But instead of slow rolling its launch, Bryn decided to go big, really big. Mirror bought billboards, television ads, and hired famous partners. They even sent mirrors out as gifts to influential celebrities.
Your product is in the home of Alicia Keys, Reese Witherspoon, Ellen DeGeneres. It actually just sort of spread itself throughout the community. So one celebrity passed it to another or to their agent.
We did have a moment, our first Christmas, when Alicia Keys got her mirror as a surprise from her family and posted an incredible video of her just screaming with joy to get this present. And I think we all sort of knew.
The mirror retails for $1,495, and subscribers pay $39 per month to stream the classes. Mirror's rapid success far exceeded expectations.
That's crazy. Hold up.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
So the mirror itself costs $1,500, but then you also have to pay $40 a month, basically 39, he said, I believe, to stream the classes. That's kind of crazy. That's a really profitable business model from the sounds of it, at least to me. And that's obviously a genius strategy to send it to top influencers. Influencer marketing is insanely powerful, especially when you get organic content like she just showed with Alicia Keys being so hyped about this mirror. That's huge.
Its biggest challenge would be ensuring its supply chain could support its growth. Put it this way, in its second year of business, Mirror did $150 million in revenue with a team of 125. But Bryn sees potential for Mirror far beyond fitness.
I've always really believed that there's room for a new type of screen in the home, that you have your phone for small informational interactions, you have your TV for passive sit on your couch entertainment, and that there will be a place for something for interactive, immersive experiences. And I think people are going to start to move away from watching to doing more. And so the ability to serve people experiences that allow them to grow, I think is really powerful, and Mirror is uniquely positioned to do that.
Are you in stealth mode right now?
Always in stealth mode.
By mid-2019, Mirror raised a total of $72 million in outside investment.
For us, seeing was really believing. The Mirror is a product you've never seen before. It's an innovation product. And so our pitch was very centered around getting investors in front of the experience. And once that happened, it really did tend to sell itself.
How did the Lululemon sale come about?
I've actually known the team at Lululemon for my entire fitness career. I was a Lululemon ambassador in the early days of Refine Method, and the store teams were some of the earliest guests at Refine. And then fast forward, we reconnected and they became minority investors in our last round. And it was really just a wonderful relationship. You know, Mirror was not for sale, but when we started working together, the combination of Lululemon's incredible brand reputation, their physical footprint, and Mirror's growing digital community just made a lot of sense.
It's easy to downplay Bryn's success. A professional ballerina turned Harvard grad turned tech founder is an elite path to be sure. But it is extremely difficult to succeed in any of those arenas, let alone all three.
Another female founder said to me, you know, we all have unconscious bias. Investors are consumers. You need to fascinate them on the market opportunity, the product, and the story. And just like any consumer, they'll buy. So you should go into your pitch meetings as a 9-month pregnant solo female founder, aware that those biases exist, but also aware that you have the power to sell. And it's really important that you focus on selling someone on the dream, even to the extreme, when trying to paint a story for your potential investors.
That's all I really had. I mean, how fortunate that your dad made you take Russian.
Don't tell him that. He'll get a big head.
Bryn was hesitant to discuss her plans beyond Mirror. But if her story is an indicator of her ambition, she'll definitely go big. Really big.
Wow. Well, talk about an inspiring story. That was really dope. I really love hearing, I mean, it's kind of like hustle porn, I guess you could say, but I really love hearing when people talk about working like for years on a product without even launching it yet. Because in the world of e-commerce that I participate in, we launch brands in like a day. And these people literally wait years for their products to be perfect in order to actually launch. That's really inspiring. And I really hope that this video inspired y'all in any way. I hope that you're a little bit smarter after watching this video, even though I don't have the resources to make this quality of content. Luckily, I got a camera, I got a mic, and I got a computer and a voice, so I can still reach you and show you this amazing content and we can watch it together. But with that said, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.